South status, Bill Hubble. I bought Lennox Mall for my brothers. Sold yard bag, tote the cutter. I got it out the field, fuck Russell. Go and ask Laura about the paddock, then go and ask Jordan, that's dead. For leak water, trying to drown a bitch. Just a habit, tricking on a bitch. Shit, I'm thinking I'm clipping a pimp. Shit, I'm cooking up dope like a dump. Shit, like her friends gon' sit nigga trim. Shit, I'm floating, I'm out in the blimp. Shit, it look like I'm swimming in glass. Shit, I turn on my bitch cause she bad. Shit, I'm making her ex nigga mad. Shit, they go for that number for man. Real nigga alert up, in the bag. Piping a bitch and they nail like I can. Turn up the shooter to switch go bad. Stay with some scammers, but dogs for pain. Trapping no rap with my dog, he fall off. No capping, no bound.
What it do, what it do, what it do. I go by the name of BRWE, representing that Selvae Hustle TV, where the hustle has to be in. You're not on you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, man, if you haven't already. Man, we're going to just run some replays of the DiddyTrial. Shout out to you, Kobe. Shout out to Beast Smooth. I see y'all out there. Going to run some replays, some sickening shit about the key, but key shit about the trial. I'm going to be tapping in and out, man, but I'm here, though.
We're learning a lot about what was reportedly used in the alleged freak-off parties at the center of the sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs. We're looking at all of the alleged freak-off supplies that we've learned about through testimony in court this week involving Diddy's former girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, better known as Cassie. And what do the dozens of text messages that the defense is having Cassie read in court tell us about how Diddy wants the jury to see his relationship with the singer after her testimony that he allegedly abused her for years? We're on the case, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. Let's get right into it. This week, we have heard from the star witness for the prosecution in its trial against Sean Diddy Combs. That star witness, Cassandra Ventura, dated Combs for a decade, and we've learned a ton about their relationship from her perspective. We have also learned a lot about the so-called freak-offs that are at the center of the government's case. And now we're learning about the supplies that were apparently used in the freak-offs. Again, the star witness is Cassandra Ventura. She and Diddy were in a relationship for 10 years. It ended in 2018. Cassie sued Diddy in 2023, and he settled that suit the very next day. That lawsuit was a major spark to the story that has brought us to what's playing out in court right now. This week, we heard Cassie tell her story to the jury. She says that Combs beat her, berated her, and forced her to take part in what has been called freak-offs. They're alleged drug-fueled sex parties involving escorts. Cassie said they were mentally and physically exhausting. She claimed that the freak-offs often left her with sores, UTIs, and needing IVs to recover. The jury has seen pictures of injuries from the relationship.
So you telling me that the lady was catching diseases behind this freak off and she kept doing it? So you telling me this woman was catching like diseases, like urinary tract infections and stuff like that, and she would continue on doing it? Man, this is crazy, y'all. Y'all double tap.
Relationship, Cassie says, like bloody lips and black eyes, that she claims that Diddy gave her when they were together. The jury has also seen a video of Diddy assaulting Cassie in the hallway of an LA hotel in 2016 that was leaked to CNN. That's been seen by millions of people. That video, Cassie testified, shows her trying to escape a freak-off party. Now, the jury has also heard testimony from Cassie about the physical toll that she said freak-off parties had on her. This is an exchange from the transcript. When she was speaking with the prosecution, she said, quote, "Occasionally, I would get sores on my tongue from the freak-offs, the taking drugs, substances, and just friction in my mouth." She says that friction wasn't just from oral sex, but also...
I can't believe this shit. That's why I had to come in and show y'all this shit now. My nigga, they said it, but they didn't say it like this. See, that's why you gotta let some days progress and go by so you can get the transcript and you can see what they really said. Man, this is unfucking real, bro.
From having her mouth on things covered with oil and other lubricants. The jury, we know, has seen an image from the freak-offs, but we don't know what that image really looks like. Our reporter, who has been in the courtroom every day, says it was only shown to jurors. It was not shown to those who have been sitting in the gallery. The defense, in its cross-examination, has been having Cassie read dozens of text messages that she and Combs sent to each other during their relationship. Messages like this one, trying to show that she was a willing participant in the freak-offs. Combs asks, quote, "When do you want to freak off, LOL?" And then Cassie replies, "LOL, I am just going up to change and put my ring in. I just picked it up. I'm always ready to freak off, LOL. LOL." The defense is trying to paint Combs and Ventura's relationship as one that was far more loving and consensual than Cassie's testimony presented thus far, and also prove that she wasn't forced to be part of the freak-offs, but she was a willing participant. And beyond that, she often organized them, they say. That she was the one who contacted the escorts often and put these things together. Now, one of the key pieces of evidence that we have heard about from the moment that the federal government announced their case against Sean Combs at the end of 2024 was baby oil. Federal prosecutors say they seized 1,000 bottles of baby oil in their investigation that they say belonged to Sean Combs. Now, when you look at the transcript from the cross-examination of Cassie this week, that baby oil came up a couple of times. In this instance, Cassie said during a freak-off, they would fill an entire baby pool with baby oil. Cassie says that they specifically used Johnson & Johnson brand baby oil that she would get from a drugstore. And in this exchange, the defense attorney says, quote, "Just to clarify information not in the record, there were no drugs in the baby oil, correct?" To which Cassie replies, "Not the ones, no." Then the attorney says, "No, never in your experience, right?" To which Cassie says, "No." The defense attorney says, quote, "If you took drugs, you always took them orally, right?" And Cassie says, "Yeah." And the defense attorney then says, "You testified yesterday that you would heat up the baby oil, right?" And Cassie says, "Correct." That's a key exchange, not just because it paints a picture of just how much baby oil it would take to fill up a small pool and that they heated it up for a freak-off, but in October of last year, a civil suit was filed by a victim who went by Jane Doe, who claimed that the baby oil that was found in Combs' house was laced with the date rape drug GHB. Now, Cassie testified yesterday that she has tried different drugs during her relationship with Combs, including GHB. Here's the exchange. The defense says, quote, "It was a special time to also experiment with different drugs, right?" And Cassie replies, "We definitely experimented with different drugs. Yeah." The defense then says, quote, "And some took and some didn't, right?" Cassie answers, "Yeah." The defense says, "You tried psychedelics, right?" "Uh-huh." Cassie says, "And GHB?" asks the defense, and Cassie says yes, as well as she admits to doing ketamine. So GHB is something that Cassie says she took, but it wasn't, to her knowledge, laced in the baby oil. Another text shows that Cassie would go to drugstores, not just for baby oil, but for candles, saying, quote, "I'm going to Dwayne Reed to grab candles, and I'm going home to pack us a bag. Do you want my reg clothes, BTW, or just sweats? Then I can go check in and set up the room. I'll eat, take my vitamins, LOL, and get ready before I leave the house. Just want to know what you're thinking." After the testimony Cassie first gave about the alleged abuse she suffered at the hands of Combs during.
Dog, she was geared up for the occasion, it seemed like to me. She was definitely gearing herself up for the occasion and creating the moments, setting the sceneries. Man, this ain't right to me, fool. Like, the more and more I hear that shit, like, I know he wrong as shit, but she needs to be right next to him. There's no way she should have got out of this shit and be rich on top of that. I don't think it's a coincidence that she get out of this shit and be rich on top of it. Like, it's crazy, man. It's weird, man. It's some weird shit.
Their relationship, you do wonder what these messages showing that she would be part of setting up the freak offs, whether they have an impact on the jury's perception of this relationship after what Cassie first told them. The text messages show that Cassie did a fair amount of shopping herself for these freak offs. The defense presented her text messages of her going to sex stores, like a place called Pleasure Chest, where she said she would get sexual supplies, lubricants, and outfits. And you can also see in this part of the transcript, the defense points out that Combs apparently volunteers to go to a store to buy supplies. And they say, quote, "In fact, there were many occasions in which he was picking up supplies for the freak off," right? And Cassie answers, quote, "He picked up supplies." Yeah, that is another defense attempt to make the freak off seem more consensually planned than what Cassie's testimony suggested in the first days that she was on the stand being questioned by the prosecution. Cassie also apparently went to another adult store, Hustler, and in this exchange she writes, quote, "At Hustler, about to check out, trying to find something to impress you, LOL, you." It's unclear what other video evidence from freak-offs will be submitted at this trial, which is expected to last more than a month and a half.
Federal prosecutors claim Combs used threats, drugs, lies, and violence to coerce Ventura into sexual encounters with male prostitutes. Ventura testified that she participated in these freak-off sex parties because she feared Combs and wanted to make him happy, but felt disgusting and worthless because she didn't want to do it. She told the jury that the hip hop star would, quote, "knock me over, drag me, kick me, stomp me in the head when I was down." And that wasn't all. The testimony was extremely graphic. Ventura walked us through years of alleged physical abuse and sexual humiliation that she says she could not escape. She said she was 22 years old when Combs first proposed the drug-fueled sex parties, and they allegedly became weekly occurrences, reportedly happening in hotel rooms in New York City, Atlanta, Los Angeles, Miami, Turks and Caicos, and Ibiza. She stayed awake by taking drugs that she says Combs gave her, including cocaine, Molly, and ecstasy. Ventura said the freak-offs typically lasted between 36 to 72 hours, the longest one lasting 4 days. And that the frequent sex would often leave her ill and cause her to have constant urinary tract infections. At one point, Ventura told the jury about one freak-off where Diddy...
My nigga, you telling me that this nigga will have a sex party that will go on for like 3-4 days? Nigga, they just fucking and sucking and doing whatever the diddler tells you to do. Man, this is ill, dog. Ill.
Allegedly told her to get into an inflatable pool filled with baby oil and lube. Court transcriptions obtained by Law and Crime show the prosecutor asked, "Who, if anyone, asked you to get into..."
Bro, I'm thinking about it right now. If somebody said, "Man, we're having a party for 72 hours. Nigga, I don't want to go to no party for no 72 hours, nigga. I don't give a fuck what kind of party it is. Bitch, I don't want to go to a party for 48 hours. Bitch, I don't want to go to a party for 24 hours, bro. These people sick."
To the pool. Ventura responded, Sean, it was his idea. The prosecutor asked, "Did you want to get into a pool of baby oil?" Ventura responds, "At that point, I couldn't say no. It would have been all bad." After an objection, the prosecutor then asks, "What concerns did you have about not getting into the pool with baby oil?" Ventura responds, "That, amongst other things, just his temper. If that is something that he wanted, Sean wanted it to happen, that's what was going to happen. There wasn't another way around it." Ventura claimed Diddy controlled all aspects of the freak-offs, from directing her to find escorts, sometimes through Craigslist, the lighting in the room, to her nails having to be painted white, and what she wore. Everything, according to Ventura, had to go through Combs. He also filmed them. She claimed that when she would make him upset, he would threaten to release the footage. During that time, she says she took drugs to help her disassociate because she felt disgusting and humiliated. Like when she said Combs or male escorts would urinate on her. The prosecutor said, "Did you want Sean or an escort to urinate on you?" Ventura responded, "No." The prosecutor then asked, "And before that happened, what, if anything, did you discuss about being urinated on?" Ventura said there was no conversation. It was just a turn on for him. Ventura testified that after sex acts with escorts concluded, Diddy would sometimes request that the escort's semen be, quote, put on his body in the next room. She was expected, she says, to have sex during her period.
A stripper known as the Punisher takes the stand in Sean Combs' sex trafficking trial, and he details how he became a key player in Combs and Cassie Ventura's baby oil-soaked freak-offs. I'll tell you what he saw, what he did, and why his relationship with the couple ended, and we'll look at what his testimony could mean to the jury.
This is wild, dog. This is wild, y'all.
Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. He calls himself the Punisher, but his name is actually Sheree Hayes. And he was an exotic dancer who took a call from a woman back in 2012 and thought he was going to put on a show for a group of women. But that's not what ended up happening. Hayes, the Punisher, was working as an exotic dancer between 2012 and 2016. Now, before your mind goes absolutely wild with why Sheree Hayes was called the Punisher, I'll tell you why he was given that name. He said it came from his time playing basketball on West 4th Street in the cages. Hayes said he took part in more than one freak-off with Cassie Ventura and Sean Combs, baby oil and all, and to gain a lot of details. More on those details shortly. Hayes said that Cassie Ventura reached out to him in 2012, but he didn't know the woman on the other end of the line by that name. She actually used the name Janet. Hayes testified, "I was working at a club event. It was either Friday or Saturday night, and I got a call with a woman stating that it was her birthday, and her husband said that she can have a hired dancer. So she told me she had a get-together with some friends, and she wanted to hire me to do a show." Hayes said he went to Trump Tower on Central Park West for what he thought would be a striptease for a small group of women. But when Hayes arrived, he said there was only one woman there, and she was in a bathroom. The woman, Hayes said, was wearing a bathrobe, but was otherwise nude, except for a wig. Hayes said, we walked into the hotel suite area. I was expecting a crowd, but there was no guest there. I just stopped in front of a bathroom and just kind of asked, would you like me to change here? And she explained to me that she didn't want me to actually dance. She explained to me that her and her husband liked to create a sexy scene that consisted of me and her mutually applying baby oil, applying it to ourselves and to possibly each other, and to try to create a sexy environment that her husband would eventually come out to watch. Now, the woman was Cassie Ventura, but again, he didn't know that at the time. Hayes said the woman handed him $800. Hayes said, I was specifically told to not acknowledge her husband, try not to look at him, no communication or anything between me and him. He continued, the room was very dimly lit.
So the money was exchanged from her hand. See, this is what I'm saying, dog. I don't like this, fool. Like, bitch, we should be equal. This what makes it look weird about the takedown. It's looking like it's just a takedown or something, bro. Because y'all saying this lady done paid this man, did some shit on her own, and paid these people to try to make him and make Puff Daddy happy. Bitch, that's a crime. Like,
There were candles. I don't think there were actual candles, but maybe electronic candles that looked like regular candles, but they were electronic. All of the furniture was covered in sheets, and there was an area pretty much set up for me to sit and her to sit across from me. And there were little bowls in the area with baby oil in them. Assistant U.S. Attorney Meredith Foster asked, "There were what bowls?" Hayes responded, "Yeah, there were bowls of water. And then in the bowls of water, there were bottles of baby oil." Then Hayes said a man, Janet's husband, entered the room. Hayes said, "What I recall is the man was nude, but I could not see his face. There was like, I don't know what it was called. It was like what the Muslim women wear, where the face is covered completely in the veil, and you can only see the eyes. It was a nude male with one of those veils on. And I could see he had what I saw as a bottle of Astroglide he was carrying." Foster asked, "Why did you believe he was carrying Astroglide?" Hayes responded, "I use Astroglide myself. I noticed it by the purple top, so that is what I had associated it with." Hayes continued, "At points, there was a table and a chair on the opposite side of the room, so he sat behind a table and chair, and he kind of paced back and forth, and I noticed that at times he was masturbating." Foster asked, "What, if anything, was he saying during the interaction?" Hayes responded, "He was speaking to Ms. Ventura directly, but it was mostly subtle directions, things like, move the light to the side, maybe positioning her body a certain way, similar suggestions in terms of the angles we sat, I guess to get a better view." Now, Hayes said the entire encounter lasted 25 to 35 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. He wasn't really counting. It ended, he said, when the man walked out of the room. Hayes testified, "Ms. Ventura followed him out. I kind of sat there waiting on the couch, and then she returned and she asked me if I wanted to finish. So finished, I interpreted as having an orgasm, which I declined at that point. I was trying to be as professional as possible. I know I was there to create what I called a sexy scene, so I declined. I said I was good. As long as they were happy, I was happy. And she said, thank you. And that's what we wanted. And I was handed additional monies." Foster asked, "And did you count the money you were handed?" Hayes said, "Yes, I didn't count it until after I got dressed. When I got to the elevator, I counted it. It was an additional $1,200. Hayes again said he didn't know who the man was, but he would figure it out at later meetings when he met Combs and Ventura at another hotel, and he was waiting for them, and a welcome message came on the TV for Sean Combs. Eventually, Combs lost the veil and would just wear a ball cap." Hayes said he estimated that he met with Combs and Ventura between 8 and 12 times. The meetings for the freak-offs were always the same. The Punisher, Hayes, would be contacted at night by phone and then text around 9 p.m., and then he would meet up with the couple at 2 a.m. or later. They always met at hotels in New York City. The freak-off meetups would happen sometimes over 2 days on weekends and were spaced out over a few months. Hayes said Combs always gave the instructions about what to do, not Cassie Ventura. And then there was the baby oil. Foster asked, "Across all these encounters, you mentioned you would use baby oil. Is that right?" Hayes said yes. Foster asked, "And how much?" Hayes responded, "A considerable amount. It was preferred to keep our bodies, covered for, the look of it, to shine or whatever was the preference." Foster asked, "And who gave directions about applying baby oil?" Hayes said, "Initially, I was told to do it by Ms. Ventura upon starting the session. That was my original, but during the acts, it would kind of be suggested, or I would follow her lead in terms of grabbing more, putting more on. It was kind of implied and known by me to keep the bodies as covered in baby oil as possible." Foster asked Hayes whether Cassie Ventura during these encounters appeared to be enjoying herself. Hayes responded, I don't have a thought process to her enjoyment level. My understanding was we were creating a scene, like a sexy scene that was enjoyable for her partner." Foster asked, "Can you explain what you mean by that?" Hayes said, "It appeared to me at some point that this appeared like a fetish type thing." That comment about Combs appearing to have a fetish drew an objection from his attorneys. Hayes continued to answer questions, saying that Cassie Ventura would sometimes wince and sigh at Combs' directions, but she never went against his instructions. Then the questioning turned to drugs and whether they were used during the freak-offs. Hayes said, "I was always offered either alcohol or would I be interested in anything. At times there were marijuana. I'm not a marijuana smoker. I call it a Bill Clinton. I do recall being handed marijuana. I act like I take a puff. I don't inhale. I'm not a drug user to that degree, so I was never under the influence at all in any of the encounters. Hayes then discussed how he would sometimes have problems performing sexually during the sexual encounters because having sex with a woman in front of her partner was out of the norm for him. He's an exotic dancer. Hayes said there was one time when he couldn't finish the job that he was hired to do, and that was the last time that Combs and Ventura ever called him. Since that time, he's written a book about how he overcame his erectile dysfunction with an implant. And guess what? Combs' attorney, Xavier Donaldson, actually started his cross-examination by congratulating him on his book. You can't really make this stuff up. So here's what Donaldson said. First, congratulations on your book. Hayes responded, thank you. Donaldson says, good job, good job. That's hard to do. What's the title again? Hayes said, In Search of Freezer Meat. Donaldson responded, freezer, M-E-A-T? Hayes responded, yeah, like you put meat in the freezer, freezer meat. Donaldson responded, in search of freezer as in hard meat? Hayes responded, what's harder than freezer meat? The Punisher met Cassie and Combs through his entertainment agency, Hunkamania, as a male dancer, and now he's one of the owners. Hayes is actually coming up on a work anniversary, so Donaldson offers more congratulations. Donaldson said, and you've been doing this for 25 years, correct? Hayes said, I started it in 1995, Labor Day of 1995. Donaldson responded, congratulations, 30 years. Hayes responded, yeah, coming up on a big anniversary. Now, Donaldson moves on to discuss his professionalism in the business and how it's pretty standard to try not to develop romantic feelings for the person paying for a show, because it's just another show, it's a job. But this was the kind of show that apparently Cassie Ventura had experience with. Donaldson asked, and I think you said earlier that you and Cassie, though, on these 8 or 10 times you all met, you all had personal conversations, correct? Hayes responded, yeah, like cordial. I wouldn't say I was a personal friend to her or anything like that, but it would be a typical check-in. She would always ask, how's business, how's work, that type of banter before any interactions. Donaldson asked, so to set the stages, she would call you, correct? Hayes says, yes. Donaldson asked, you would go to a hotel, correct? Hayes said, yes, that's correct. Donaldson asked, she would let you in, correct? Hayes said, that is correct. Donaldson asked, and you and her would sit down and talk and have light conversation about your work, how you're doing, and things like that.
Wow, y'all.
Hayes responded, that is correct. Donaldson asked, at some point in time, you would start baby oiling her, or she would start baby oiling you. Is that right? Hayes said, yes. But when Donaldson suggests that Hayes actually developed feelings for Cassie, he quickly pushes back. Donaldson asks, and after these 8 to 12 occasions, it's fair to say you began to have feelings for Cassie, correct? Hayes said, that is incorrect. Donaldson asked, at some point after these 8 to 12 meetings, you grew to believe that you were the only person that Cassie was doing this with, correct? Hayes said, that is correct. Donaldson asked, fair to say that you felt special, that you thought you were Cassie's only person, correct? Hayes said, that is correct. Donaldson asked, and you felt special because you had met with her 8 to 12 times, correct? Hayes said, yes, my original arrival, it was a birthday, and this was something special she was doing with her husband. I actually aligned with that understanding, so I did feel special that out of all of the options, I was the person being chosen for this interaction. Xavier Donaldson then pushes a little harder. He's implying that the Punisher's performance issues were really rooted in a connection that he had with Cassie. Hayes fires back, admitting this was not a typical client or a typical show. This was the Punisher's first freak-off experience. Donaldson asks, while you were oiling her down, you were using your 25 years of experience to make the scene exotic, correct? Hayes responded, I wouldn't. This scene is completely different than anything I did as a male dancer. So whatever I acquired skills in terms of putting on a show didn't really apply in this scenario. This was nuance that was different than what I had done for my typical work. Donaldson asked, it was nuanced and different because you both were completely naked at this time, correct? Hayes responded, yeah. And also as a male dancer, my focus specifically is more fun. Most of the
Let's
things that I
go, Miss
do,
Sissy.
you're going to
Let's
laugh
go, lick
more
in the
than
trap,
try
Miss
to
Sissy.
create an erotic sexual connection.
You gotta start
I'm at
dropping your
bachelorette
wings.
parties.
Drop your
Ladies are
wings.
about to get married. I'm not trying to turn anybody on. I'm trying to get a funny move with a mom or a grandma or aunt, something
Motherfucker
memorable
going up
in that
tonight.
way. So this was very sexually natured. So it was different than my exotic dancing performance. Donaldson asked, so that's what I'm saying. This was very sexually natured. Hayes said
On
yes.
stream, y'all.
Donaldson asked, and it
On
was different
stream,
than what
y'all.
you
This
normally
going
do.
up
Hayes said
tonight,
yes.
y'all.
So the Punisher said
God
he actually
dang it,
thrives
y'all.
on creating a funny, lighthearted
We on
environment.
stream, y'all.
So doing
Yeah, we
something
on
sexual
stream,
is
y'all,
not
y'all.
something that was normal for him. It was a challenge. Donaldson takes that and
man,
changes
these
his
niggas
angle,
suck.
leaning into why these
What
interactions
is,
were so comfortable. And the Punisher falls right into it. Donaldson asks, let's start there. You didn't get any cues that there was a discomfort with the sexual interactions between you and Cassie, correct? I did not, Hayes said. Donaldson asked, because if you had got some cues or some kind of discomfort, you would not have done that, correct? Hayes responded, that is correct. Donaldson asked, so when you were having these sexual encounters with Cassie, 8 to 12 times, no cues about any discomfort, correct? Hayes responded, that's correct. Donaldson then asks, and Cassie is showing you that she's engaged in the sexual intercourse, correct? Hayes responded, yes, it seemed like it was consented as far as I was concerned. Donaldson responded, seemed like it was mutual and she was
It's
having
not
a
a
good time
disease.
and you were having a
It's a
good time,
urinary tract.
correct?
Hey,
Hayes said, well, I can only speak for myself, but it
they gonna
seemed like the
say,
scenario I was there to create.
they're gonna say it's from her not drinking water or this. It also can be from you having sex with multiple motherfuckers and not bathing correctly. So I look at that as a disease, my nigga. You can say what you want to say. A regular person gets that who's not having sex. A regular woman get that from not drinking water, not doing what they're supposed to do that way. So you telling me all this water and all this shit at the party, she ain't drinking none? All this Molly getting took, she ain't drinking none? She better be drinking some water.
Create the scene or whatever, that it was going well.
Yeah.
That was my goal. I really looked at it as a job. And in those moments, I would feel I was doing what I was there to do. So we won't stop there because Donaldson's point was made. He gave a visual to the jury that Sean Combs was basically the director of this live movie where Cassie and the Punisher were the actors. Donaldson asks, so when you were performing oral sex on Cassie, it appeared that she was enjoying it before the money came, correct? Hayes said yes. Donaldson then asks, and the money came and it shocked you, correct? Hayes said yes. So this was referencing a time when Sean Combs threw money on the bed next to both Ventura and Sean Combs. Now, this was obviously a relationship that Cassie and Combs paid to sustain, literally. There was another question from Donaldson. He asked, there was an occasion where Cassie called you and you arrived at the hotel and nothing happened, correct? Hayes responded, yes. And when you arrived at the hotel, Cassie opened the door and provided you money, correct? Hayes responded, yes. Donaldson asked, she provided you approximately $500. Hayes said it was $500. Donaldson said, so on that occasion, you actually got paid for doing nothing, correct? Hayes said, that is correct. Donaldson said, so it would be fair for some time. You're getting paid for your time, correct?
Yes.
Hayes said, yeah, it was a quick day. For some reason, she had to cancel the last minute, so she gave me the $500 for coming out. Hayes said in all of the time he spent with the couple, he did not observe any illegal behavior as the government claims. Donaldson asked, and you said that when you observed Mr. Combs, he never appeared to be intoxicated, correct? Hayes said that is correct. Donaldson asked, they didn't ask you when you observed Miss Ventura, she never appeared to be intoxicated, correct? Hayes responded, she did not. Donaldson asked, and when you observed Ms. Ventura, she never appeared to be under the influence of any drugs, correct? Hayes responded, not that I would recognize, no. Donaldson asked, you wouldn't have sexual intercourse with a woman who you believed to be under the influence of drugs, would you? Hayes said, I would not. Donaldson asked, because that would be bad, right? Meredith Foster says, objection. The court says that's overruled. Donaldson asked, that would be bad, right? Hayes says, absolutely.
We have a brand new evidence drop from the government as they make their case in the sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs. These are new pictures from inside Combs's Miami mansion from when it was raided by federal agents in March 2024. From risque adult toys and high heels to guns, ammo, and drugs. We'll show you what they have and how it lines up with what's playing out in court in New York. We'll also tell you the shocking messages written in lipstick found on Diddy's bathroom mirror. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
What do you want? What? Man, this shit getting sticky, dog.
We have a lot to unpack because we just received dozens of pieces of evidence that the government has in their case against Sean Diddy Combs. These are pictures from the day they raided his house in Miami. Now, these appear to be what federal agents found inside that Miami mansion in March 2024. You can see some of the pictures they sent us of this mansion, just an extravagant, luxurious home on the water in an exclusive community in South Florida. Agents also raided one of Combs's homes in Los Angeles, and those raids played a key part in arresting Combs in September 2024, then getting us to the trial that is now playing out in federal court in New York. Now, this is a sketch from today as the federal agent who is in charge of the Miami raid presented pieces of evidence and testified. This is a sketch of him showing the jury one of the guns taken from the Miami house. Now, along with pieces of evidence like this, dozens of bottles of Astroglide lubricant that was allegedly used in Diddy's freak-offs that reportedly included male escorts, drugs, and his ex-girlfriend Cassandra Ventura. We also have some new pictures of Ventura. This is one of her with Don Richard, who's the former Danity Kane member who testified this week that she had witnessed Combs assault Cassie multiple times. In this picture, you see Cassie on the right. Richard testified that Cassie wore glasses to hide the swelling after Combs allegedly hit her in the face. This was in New York in 2009. Other pictures show some of the injuries that the government alleges Cassie suffered at the hands of the now disgraced music mogul. We are blurring the bruises in these pictures. These are sensitive images about a sensitive topic, and also because of the rules of YouTube. Now we see in this image here, there is a bruise on Cassie's leg. We have another picture where there's a small bruise on her shoulder. This is a picture that shows Ventura with a dark bruise that's below her waistline. All of these have been already presented to the jury. Ventura testified in court that she was the victim of years of abuse at the hands of Sean Combs. She also admitted to taking part and sometimes helping organize these freak-offs. Sometimes they were hours long. They were sex parties that involved drugs. They involved escorts. And the new evidence shows a lot of what potentially went into these sex parties. Here's a picture of several boxes of high-heeled platform shoes that were found on the floor. You can also see, and we've had to blur them, some adult toy handcuffs and what appears to be lingerie. Next to the cuffs, you also see what appears to be AR-15 pieces. And we'll talk more about the weapons the government says that they found inside the house in just a moment. Here's a closer look at some of those high-heeled platform shoes, clear high-heeled shoes that you might see an exotic dancer wear. And you can also see the rope and another adult toy in the box as well. Now, here are some more high heels with some more adult toys nearby. The name of the adult toy, it is too graphic to say, but it appears to be an adult toy that's used for oral sex. Now, then there are several bottles of Astroglide lubricant. This came up in court multiple times this week in testimony. Diddy's former personal assistant said he would go buy Astroglide along with baby oil, condoms, and prophylactics during his time working for Diddy. Then there was the testimony of a male escort named Sheree Hayes. In his line of work, he went by the name The Punisher. He laid out what he said happened during freak-offs he was allegedly hired to be part of. He claimed that Combs entered the room in an instance only wearing what seemed like a Muslim hijab, carrying Astroglide. The Punisher said he noticed it because of the purple cap, which we do see in the government evidence photos, and he explained that it was sexual lubricant. He also said he had no communication with Combs during the freak-off as he wore allegedly that veil over his face and nothing more. The government is also submitting several images that show drugs that were seized from the house in Miami. Here's a picture of some of that evidence laying on top of a Gucci designer bag.
I think either him or the prostitute. I think
because of the rules of YouTube, but
Real
I'm going to
spill,
describe
salute, boy.
for you what we see. This is a picture of a Ziploc bag that has several different kinds of pills. Some of them are pink, white, blue. There's also a rolled up $100 bill right next to that bag. Another plastic bag, there are more pills. These seem to be two separate kinds as well. Some are white, some are yellow. Then there are orange and pink pills you see here that, according to the Homeland Security Special Agent who is testifying today, that's the party drug MDMA. It's similar to ecstasy. This is according to the Homeland Security Special Agent who testified today about what they saw in Miami during this raid. Now, we don't get descriptions in the evidence drops to tell you exactly what these pills are, but when it comes to drugs, Combs's former assistant, David James, testified this week that Diddy allegedly took drugs every day when he worked for him. Specifically, throughout the day, he would take Percocets and then switch to ecstasy at night. Then there is this picture. It's a small alleged container of cocaine. The government found it with a rolled up dollar bill next to it. That cocaine has a label on it that says DBL Wash. Agents also found this green locked heavy-duty container. It says Diddy right across the front. And then this picture shows what it appears they found inside, which includes two large bags of marijuana. Along with the bags of drugs and the adult toys that agents found during this raid, they also found several weapons inside the home.
That like button ain't gonna defer me from getting paid.
You might remember that sketch from earlier, the special agent presenting it to the jury today. There's also a magazine and bullets that appear to go with that style of firearm. Then there are pieces to AR-15 rifles like this.
Hold on, let me pause this real fast, not to get off topic, because I'm going to explain to y'all about the like button. The like button is for people who not in the algorithm, meaning they don't get views. Bro, it is 400 people in here. I'm getting paid off that off top. I ain't worried about the like button is to push their video farther and farther for it to go farther. Shit, it's 300 people in here already. Shit, I ain't worried about no like button. Just subscribe to the page, man. They still gonna pay me for this shit. Trust me.
Serial numbers on those guns, this one with a skull and crossbones on it, have been defaced. Then there's another AR-15. That one has a biohazard logo on it. That also has a defaced serial number, according to the special agent.
The motherfucker sitting here.
A few final pieces of evidence also caught our eye. Take a look at this.
I keep a whole bunch of haters.
These are containers of vital honey powder. It's powder that's used for sexual enhancement. According to the FDA, in fact, the agency actually advised people not to buy this stuff in 2022 because it contains the same active ingredient as Cialis, which you need a prescription for. Then there is this wide picture of a bathroom in Diddy's house, and you can see what looks like lipstick or marker written on this mirror. One of the messages reads, "What do you want?" And below it reads, "Love you, love Diddy." Then there's also another message that says, "You are a legend and breathe." Combs's trial is expected to last roughly 7 weeks. He's charged with sex trafficking by force and transportation to engage in prostitution. He has pleaded not guilty.
Cross-examining Cassie, Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers went at Cassie Ventura with the couple's text messages about freak-offs, their love for one another, and threats of murder, as Combs cast the violence and freak-offs as domestic violence and consensual sex, not sex trafficking. I go over the grilling of Cassie Ventura in Combs' trial and whether Combs' team got their job done.
Like I said before, nigga, I don't want to go to no party for no 72 hours. I don't want to go to no party for no 48 hours. Bro, I don't want to go to a party for 12 hours, nigga. I don't want to go to no fucking party for no 8 fucking hours, nigga. I don't even want to stand up that long, nigga. Like, come on, my nigga. No, that shit weird off the bat.
Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Angie.
You try to dig a Diddy, you want to go home, he won't let you out the house 9 times out of 10. I bet if them people were saying they wanted to go home, they couldn't, nigga.
Levy. Cassie Ventura is the government's star witness in its sex trafficking and RICO case against Sean Diddy Combs. Ventura, whose stage name is Cassie, was on the stand for 4 days in the Southern District of New York as the federal government works to prove that Sean Combs used his companies to commit a number of crimes and that Cassie Ventura and other women were sex trafficked by Sean Combs to meet his sexual desires and fantasies. Combs, for his part, says any sex the women had with male escorts that he hired was consensual. 2 to 3 hours, nigga. The freak-offs were sometimes days-long, drug-fueled sex encounters where Ventura and other sexual partners of Sean Combs had sex with these male sex workers as Combs watched and sometimes masturbated. The encounters were often videotaped, and Combs kept those tapes, according to federal prosecutors. Cassie Ventura testified that she and Combs were together for 11 years, and there's a 17-year age difference between the two of them. Cassie was also one of his recording artists. Now, at first, she said she was open to these freak-offs, but later, she said she felt she had no choice in taking part in them. A centerpiece of the government's case, of course, is that 2016 video of Combs chasing Ventura out of a hotel room in Los Angeles, hitting her and kicking her as she tried to leave. Ventura also testified that she felt forced to take part in the freak-offs, even when she was suffering from urinary tract infections. Some she would get so often that antibiotics wouldn't even work to treat them any longer. On direct examination, Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson asked Ventura about that civil lawsuit that she filed against Sean Combs, which really started this entire federal investigation into the rap mogul. It was settled within a day. Ventura said she agreed to drop the suit in exchange for $20 million. Combs' team will say this is largely about money.
I gotta get off topic again, man. Shout out to Mac, man. Because I'm gonna tell you something about Mac, and I ain't gonna go too long with it. We was in here talking about them inmates that broke out of Louisiana jail. And Mac said the maintenance man. He was the only one that sat here and put that in my head, the maintenance man, because the way that shit was chopped and the way them tools that they had to have, the maintenance man. Well, Mac, I will say, sir, is looking from what the news is saying that you were definitely right, sir. Definitely
sex
right.
Trafficking. Attorney Anna Esteveo was chosen to cross-examine Ventura, so let's get right into it. Esteveo started by asking, you and Sean Combs were in love for 11 years, right? Cassie responded, yeah. Esteveo continued, during that time, you loved him. Cassie responded, I did, yes. Esteveo asked, and you believed that he loved you as well. Cassie responded, yes. Esteveo then went on to ask, and during those 11 years, you took care of him. Cassie responded, in the ways I could, yes. Esteveo asked, and you believed that he needed someone to take care of him. Cassie responded, I don't know. Esteveo followed up, in some ways? Cassie answered, in some ways, I guess, yeah. Esteveo then got Cassie Ventura to admit that she left Combs, but always returned to him. Esteveo asked, you said on direct that you were very jealous. I think insanely jealous is the phrase you used. Cassie responded, I did.
Hey, y'all, that's
Esteveo
another thing,
asked,
too,
and he gave
fool.
you a lot to be
That's
jealous
another
of.
thing, fool. It's like, bro, this girl left this nigga numerous times, but she came back. Do y'all think she came back because she was addicted to Puffy? Or she was addicted to the drugs and the freak outs, man? Bitch, you had time, bitch, he done dumped you or you dumped him numerous times, but you always came back. Ah, this ain't fair.
Right?
This ain't fair,
Cassie responded, I mean, it's all relative, yeah. Esteveo asked, but for 11 years, you put up with that jealousy, right? Cassie responded, not the whole time, no. Esteveo asked, you were on and off during the relationship, but you kept coming back to him for 11 years. I wouldn't use the word coming back. You would continue to get back together with him for 11 years. Cassie responded, yes. Esteveo then asked, despite his imperfections, maybe not strong enough.
Lifestyle,
Cassie
money.
Responded, yes.
Nigga.
Esteveo said his flaws, right?
The freak outs, bro.
Cassie responded, yes.
Come on,
Esteveo
man.
also had Ventura read from emails and text messages that showed Combs and Ventura appeared to love one another. Esteveo asked, can you read the second message from the top out loud, Miss Ventura? This is from Mr. Combs to you. Cassie
And
responded,
this
"You want
is
me
the
to read it
point
out
that
loud?"
Diddy lawyer is trying
Estevao
to
says,
punch
"Yes,
on them,
just the
punch
text
on
of the
them, punch
message
on them.
itself."
Man,
Cassie
this bitch was
responded, "It
setting
makes me
shit up.
so happy that you would fly
It
to
was her
ATL
idea
just
for
to
some
see
of this
me. I'm
shit.
truly a lucky man. I
Hey,
love you, missing you.
y'all not
Can't wait to hold you."
understanding.
Estevao
Y'all not understanding that they done went through, the feds done went through all the Diddy documents and files and videos and shit, bro. They don't have no freak out videos. Y'all don't think it's weird that the only person when they found the freak out videos where it came from, it was saved in Cassie's files and shit. It's either two reasons for that. Bitch, you didn't want to let that fun go that you had and you always want to see it. Or Diddy told you to hold that shit just in case, nigga, them people come and he could set you up so we could both go down. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
then asked, "Now, could you read your response at the top, please?" Cassie responded, "I am a very lucky woman, smiley face. I'm a very lucky woman. I miss you so much. I'd fly wherever you needed me whenever. I love you, Cass." Estevao responded, "Thank you." There were other emails, some from 2009, in which Sean Combs called Ventura BG, which she said stands for baby girl. Ventura read from the message, "Going to sleep now so it can be tomorrow faster and you can be home. I love you."
Hey,
Then
I can
Estevao
definitely
read
dig that.
Combs's
I
part,
can dig that.
"Love my
I can
baby."
definitely dig that.
Ventura
I gotta
responded,
give you
smiley
that.
face.
Because he
Estevao
was
then
whooping
read
her
Combs's
ass.
part again. "I love you so much. It consumes my life. How did that happen?" Cassie responded, "I don't know. I wonder the same thing for myself all of the time. Like, who was I before we decided to be together?"
Salute, Battalion.
Combs's part, "I never knew it could be like this. How do you have me this way?" Cassie responded, "LOL, what do you mean? I'm so happy that we fell in love." Combs's part, "We are so in love, we don't do anything else." Now, Anna Estevao is trying to show with all of these messages that Cassie Ventura loved Sean Combs, that they loved one another, and that she wanted his attention. She asked Ventura to read a message from 2010. Ventura stated, "So you hung up. It's like I need to have something written out to say to you with no breathing room, or you'll get mad at me and hang up. I haven't talked to you at all.
That's
I know you
crazy.
can take 3 minutes out of your day to talk to me, and you don't even
She
try.
got to write the
You're in too
message
much of a
out to the
rush to get
nigga.
me off the
And say
phone.
it quick
That's
and
not being in a
fast.
relationship with somebody that you love and are in love with.
That
I'm
nigga
really
did
hurt
it.
by the way you deal with me.
This
I don't
guy.
need your money. I need some attention. I am thankful, but I can pay for these things myself." Estevao
Ooh.
asked, "I believe you testified on direct examination that you frequently wanted more time with Mr. Combs, right?" Cassie responded, "Yes."
Oh.
Estevao then asked, "And it was important to you to get your special time with him?" Cassie responded, "Yeah." Ventura said she loved Combs because he was sweet and attentive. Estevao confirmed that Ventura once told Combs that he made her a better woman, daughter, and person. Then the testimony turned to the freak-offs. The defense says Ventura was a willing participant in the freak-offs, not a sex trafficking victim. Estevao read from a text from Combs where he said to Ventura, "You tell me the day, you choose." Ventura responded, "It can be whenever." Combs responded, "Name the night." Ventura responded, "I feel like the weekend, like a Friday night would be best because we'd want some time to recover for work or the work week, right? This upcoming weekend, the 8th, is the only one I have until the 28th. Estevao responded, "Okay, I'm on it." That was Combs's part. Then Estevao pivots, using some of Cassie's own words against her regarding that March 2016 incident at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. Estevao quotes Cassie Ventura, "You say, baby, I want to FO so bad, but don't want to F myself up. What am I to do, right?" Ventura responded, "Yup." Estevao then asks, "When asked why you sent this message, you testified, I definitely didn't want to mess myself up, mess up my body for my premiere by partying, but I was telling him that I wanted to have a FO with him. That's what you testified to, right?" Cassie responded, "Right." Estevao then said, "You said that it was a bit of damage control ahead. I personally felt like if I sort of initiated go along with creating this, then my premiere wouldn't be ruined, right?" Cassie responded, "Yup." Estevao then asked, "So you testified you were trying to get ahead of it in a way, right?" Cassie then responded, "Yes." Estevao then said, "You said he would have just made it miserable for me. I never really had like the chance to or opportunity to enjoy the things that I'd worked really hard on. So it just felt like I was just what you're trying to play a balancing act a bit, right? That's how you testified about this message? Ventura responded, yes. But ultimately, it was Cassie who set up that freak off that she was later punished for trying to escape. Estevao asks, and then what do you say? Ventura responds, so let's
Diddy
do
was
it.
looking
Can you
for
set it up, though,
security
so I can
herself.
just run home
You
and
right,
grab
man.
stuff?
Yeah, that's true too, Miss
Estevao
Britannia.
says, and then he
Abuse
says, I
came
think if
from
we start at
refusing to
7
stay
or 8
away.
o'clock and
Hey,
end at 4 a.m.
like
at the
Deuce.
latest, take a Xanax and or Ambien and go to sleep, we'll be okay. And you rest tomorrow and all day Sunday, you'll be good, and drink a lot of water, we'll be good. But we won't have hours to be caught in a matrix. If we do it, I want you to call Garen and see what he has so he
Y'all
can
got some
really
valid
be a
ass
turn
points
on.
tonight.
But if we're going to do something, the sooner the better. Did I read that right? Toward the end of that line of questioning, Estevao tries to get Cassie to admit the batch of drugs that night that they were using was among a bad batch. Estevao asks, the drugs that you and Mr. Combs took that day were a bad batch of MDMA, right? Emilia Johnson, the assistant U.S. attorney, then objects. The court overrules the objection. Estevao asks, they were a bad batch, right?
Hey.
Cassie responds, I have no idea.
Still.
I don't know. Anna Estevao asked Cassie Ventura about her meeting up with Sean Combs on September 27, 2018, after they had broken up. Estevao refreshed Ventura's recollection that she had indeed seen Sean Combs that day. By that point, Ventura was dating her current husband, Alex Fine. Ventura confirmed that she and Combs had sex, and this is the defense trying to show that Ventura was not being held hostage by Sean Combs and sex trafficked against her will. Estevao asks, and that night when you were having intercourse with him, did you receive a FaceTime call? Ventura says, I did. Estevao responds, and did you answer that call? Cassie Ventura responds, no. Estevao asks, did you recognize the caller ID to be your now husband?
The lawyers is busting
Cassie
her
Ventura
up,
responds,
though.
I did.
The
Estevao
lawyers
asks,
tearing
and
her
Mr.
ass
Combs
up, though.
noticed this call, right? Cassie Ventura says, yup. Anna Estevao asks, and he noticed the name that was, or the alias that was popping up on your phone, right? Ventura responds, yup. Estevao asks, and this was in the middle of your evening with Mr. Combs? Cassie Ventura responds, correct. The questioning about this night continued, with Estevao appearing to imply that Ventura may have made up.
You want to know what gets me about this? You want to know what gets me about this? Because I'm just, see, when we go to talking about abuse, mentally, physically, cussing her out, pulling her hair, making her do shit she don't want to do, wouldn't it be, this is a woman we're talking about, right? We're talking about women are sensitive, very, very sensitive, as they should be. When's she gonna shed a tear on the stand? Wouldn't these be stories where she'll be crying and on the stand, right? I'm just insinuating, maybe I watch too much movies and Law and Order and shit. I'm just saying I would think that you taking a woman back to these messed up moments in her lifestyle would probably try to break her down on top of her being pregnant. I'm just saying, y'all, who the fuck am I?
Claim that Sean Combs raped her when she told Alex Fine that she had sex with Combs that night. Estevao asked Ventura, you told your now husband that Mr. Combs raped you, didn't you? Ventura responded, I did. Estevao responds,
I don't know who to believe on this shit.
Ventura says that
I'm be honest with y'all.
Estevao says, in September.
I believe that nigga freaky in a bitch.
No, that wasn't the
but I
evening
believe
when I was
she freaky
raped.
in a bitch
Estevao
too.
asks, your husband punched a
Is
wall
that
at
fair
a
to
certain
say?
point, right?
They both freaky in a
Ventura
bitch.
responded, he did. After an objection, the question
They like to get high.
Estevao asked, when you informed him that Mr. Combs raped you, correct? Ventura responded, yes, I think. I don't remember exactly when that was. Estevao asks, your husband learned of your sexual intercourse with Mr. Combs, right? Ventura responded, right. Estevao asks, and you told him that Mr. Combs raped you, right? Ventura responded, right. Estevao asked, and when your now husband learned about it, he punched a wall, right? Ventura responded, I believe so. Estevao also seemed to question Ventura's memory of the date when the rape by Combs took place.
But this is,
then she turned to other text messages that showed Ventura continued to talk.
But this another thing that get me too. How many niggas that snitch on a nigga in a case be rich after they snitch? How many niggas snitch on a nigga on a case and be rich at the same time? Become state witness and still be rich at the same time? Dawg, that shit don't. Dawg, that's what all this shit is weird to me, fool. Like, and I'm not saying that Diddy didn't do nothing. I'm talking about the system, the way they got shit embedded, the way she not crying. This lady sitting on the stand pregnant. This lady went and got that money from that nigga, Diddy, and got pregnant. Like, dog, she leaving with a bag. Her kids gonna be rich. Like, all this shit just seems set up to me, fool, y'all.
Combs, Estevao asked, and after your breakup, you're telling him that you feel lost without him, right? Cassie Ventura says, yep. Estevao asked, and after your dinner in September, you don't see him for a number of weeks, correct? Ventura responded, correct. Estevao asks, and that's because you had broken up with him, right? Ventura responded, yeah. Estevao asks, a month after this, on November 15th, 2018, Kim Porter passed away unexpectedly. Isn't that right? Ventura responded, yup, it is. Estevao responds, and you went to the memorial service for Miss Porter, correct? Ventura responded, yup, I went. Ventura said she went to the memorial for Kim Porter that was held in Georgia. Estevao read from a message Combs sent to Ventura in 2020, and part of it read, I pray for a day that I can sit down with you and let you know all the things that I've reflected on.
Okay, I got a question for y'all about that part. Do y'all think that Diddy sent her to the memorial, or Cassie went to the memorial out the kindness of her heart because she felt like that's what the maker told her to do, you know?
You were there for me.
The letter she wrote. I could just hear Diddy telling, now I've been telling you to write this letter, Cassie, goddammit.
Throughout everything. You were my ride or die, and I've got nothing but love for you always. My heart is filled with joy to know that you don't hate me, and I hope you're taking care of you also. I thank God for the time that we had together, and you're one of the greatest women in the world, and don't ever forget that. Love. Ms. Ventura, you were also friends with Mr. Combs throughout your relationship, right? Ventura responded, right. Estevao then asked, you didn't only consider yourselves romantic partners, correct? Ventura responded, correct. Estevao confirmed with Ventura that in the fall of 2023, she was planning to go on tour, but then after settling her civil suit with Combs for $20 million, she canceled the tour. Estevao also planned
to go to work no more.
Threatening a man who claimed he saw a video of her.
She don't got to go to work no more. Y'all see that?
Said in the recording,
she don't got to go to work no more. I got the money.
Life. I want to kill you.
Go to work no more.
Cut you up and put you in the effing dirt.
That's
on redirect,
crazy,
Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson asked Cassie Ventura whether there were times throughout her relationship with Sean Combs in which he was loving toward her, and she said there were times, but that those times never lasted. They also discussed the freak-offs again. Johnson asked, how did Sean's moods affect your career? Ventura responded, it depended on if he was in the mood to have a freak off. My work would take the back seat. So that would be my career not being paid attention to because I had to do other things.
Yeah,
Johnson
but you got to get out there and suck some balls and
do
some coochie.
Ventura responded, I had to do the freak offs. Johnson asked him, what kind of preparation did freak offs entail? Ventura responded, a lot. Me getting myself ready, head to toe, getting a room ready, setting up entertainment. Yeah. Johnson asked, when you say setting up entertainment, what are you referring to? Cassie said, to escorts. Johnson also asked Ventura about how Combs's moods impacted how she felt about herself. Ventura said Combs's lifestyle was chaotic and she sought his approval. When asked, she said she wanted to have sex with only Combs, not other men. Ventura also said that Combs expected her to send him messages pretty much constantly to keep him sexually excited. She said the amount of music she put out once she started dating Combs changed.
That's all I say.
Because she had to focus her attention on him.
I say when it's a scale, man, they both
Ventura
even.
said her music career suffered because she had another job as a sex worker for Combs. The defense
scale
objected
just overweighs
and
for
moved to
Diddy
strike the
because
answer.
he got the money.
The judge granted the
But
motion to strike the sex
he
worker
planned
answer.
that shit, bro,
Johnson then
like a
continued.
baby
How many
shower.
times did Sean
Like a
insist you
woman
have
would
a
plan
freak
a
off
baby
when you still
shower.
had a UTI?
Like, come
Cassie
on, man.
Ventura responded all the time, frequently.
Dog.
Johnson asked, and did Sean beat you during freak offs? Cassie Ventura said yes. Johnson asked, once or more than once? Ventura responded, more than once. Johnson asked, how did you feel during the freak offs when Sean beat you? Ventura responded, worthless, just like dirt, like I didn't matter to him, but that I was nothing, like absolutely nothing.
What they say,
Ventura went on to say that
people?
she didn't want to do the freak offs anymore, but felt she couldn't say no.
Well, we're going to stop it right there. That's it right there. We're going to stop it right there. But, bro, this is all I'm saying, dog. In the morning, we're going to get into some of the names that's been coming up. Yeah, but yeah. Now, this is all I'm saying. I'm not saying Diddy is innocent. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that this bitch is guilty, dog. Bro, like, she rounding up friends and shit at homeboy. Bro, listen. She telling these people what kind of party it is, fool. She ain't just saying, man, it's a party. It's a party. We just gonna be, it's just a party. You know, we gonna have fun, you know. Nah, bitch, you got to tell these people, man. Like, so man, come on, my nigga. Man, that's crazy, fool. It's crazy, dog. I told y'all they pay sex workers. And see, the reason why they getting his ass, because it wasn't just one or two, fool. She just telling you about the one or two that he paid for them. Bro, at these parties, he will hire numerous sex workers. Numerous, and blend them in with regular people. These people getting paid, he making it look like it's just a freaky, dicky party that's going down. And these people not even understand, the onlookers who I'm talking about, that these people are paid. It's like a movie going on. That he just involved, an R-rated movie that he just threw y'all in and drugged y'all with horse tranquilizers and involved y'all in this shit, fool. Motherfucker said that the guy had Diddy. Man, I said Diddy. Motherfucker said that the guy had baby oil on ice. Baby oil on ice. That's what I'm gonna change the name to this live. Is gonna be baby oil on ice. The lady said that the man had a bucket with water in it and baby oil in it to keep that shit fresh. Man, y'all, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. And I know a lot of you famous motherfuckers saw this shit too, fool. Y'all saw this whole ass shit. But even y'all motherfuckers was scared of this motherfucker. That's what's crazy about it. Yeah, Mac. Even them motherfucking famous motherfuckers was scared of him too, fool. That's why that nigga slapped the shit out of Drake and didn't get no repercussions. But you got XX Extension go at Drake, and Drake have everything to say. Drake homeboys want to unalive him allegedly and all this old shit. But when Diddy go put his paws on your ass, you skip over it and apologize to the nigga. Hey man, that nigga sinister, fool. That nigga is a gangster for real, fool. And a hoe ass nigga all at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro, that nigga crazy, blowing up cars, doing mob shit. Cocktail. What you call them hoes? Bottle cocktail. I mean, bomb cocktails and shit, nigga. Shit from the movies, nigga. The fuck is Diddy doing, bro? I'm thinking you gonna burn the nigga shit up with some motherfucking lighter fluid and a lighter. Man, these niggas going the old school way that they used to burn down the Black Panther party motherfucking buildings and shit like that. This nigga Diddy. Hey, every day I cover this shit. This shit is like a fucking movie, fool. It's like a fucking movie, fool. Like, it's something new every time. And I don't give a fuck if a motherfucker don't like me. Cause man, listen, this shit is crazy. It's crazy, dog. We watching a woman get paid for snitching. Become a millionaire. Bitch, you had your chance to shine. You fucked off your bag. You fucked off your money. You were able to recover just by saying a man did something to you that you was down with. When you should be in jail too, not being able to spend a cocksucking crumb of that money. But you able to walk free. But what if this nigga Diddy beat this case though? What if he beat the case though? Because them lawyers is on her ass. And they steady, it seems like to me that the lawyers is steady trying to point out their main points is that they point out that you was down. You was down. Oh yeah, you was down. You was down. And they got the receipts and everything that you was down. It's wild, y'all. Y'all been a beautiful audience today, man. I gotta make it to the store for this bitch closed, man. I'm gonna come back in the morning, man. We're gonna tap into the stars of whose names coming up in the paperwork. We finally get to touch in on that. See, I knew that a lot of them superstars wasn't gonna pop up in this shit. Cause you wanna know why? Because it's the industry. They're gonna block them out and save them and make sure they in good hands. Because you lose deals and shit like this. You lose scripts, you lose contract, concerts, tours behind shit like this, boy. I'm telling you. So y'all gonna see the industry. A lot of the people that was there are going to get blocked out and not even mentioned. Niggas like LeBron James and shit like that. Watch what I tell y'all. That's when you know that the Illuminati is involved with this shit, man. Y'all gonna see a lot of the players that was here. Y'all president of the United States was one of them niggas that had him on a white suit at them affairs. He definitely was in white at those affairs. You know, California burned up, all that shit, dog, all types of shit. Man, you listen, y'all gonna see some shit go down, bro. Y'all gonna see that these people that we've been, when this shit first started, we started naming numerous people. Bro, I seen a list of the people that was on at these parties that the people had a list. Bro, they ain't mentioned half them names. It was hundreds of people. Hundreds of superstars. They ain't mentioned none of them niggas. But then again, they also, this is also the after party. You get what I'm saying? A lot of, see, when people say they went to Diddy parties, man, they got the after party, and then they got the after the party for the freaky deaky motherfuckers. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people didn't make the cut. Is that what you would call it? If that's what you may say, you know, they didn't make that cut, my nigga. So they just went to the first party, the first shindig. You know, there's 3 parties, man. I'm telling you now. You gotta. It's like a job interview, man. You gotta go through a process. You gotta make it to the third level. I'm finna get out of here, dog. I'm finna get the fuck on, man. Because this, dog, is sisters, dog. Y'all been a beautiful crowd today. Thank y'all. Y'all know what it is. Without y'all, this shit is not possible, man. Hey, well, we'll be back in the morning, man, again, my nigga. We'll be back in the morning, man. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, man. I'm gone, man, for real.
Status Bill Hubble, I bought Lennox Mall for my brothers. Sold your bag, told the cutter, I got it out the field, fuck Russell. Going ass Lori about the paddock, and going ass Jordan ass dead. For leak water, trying to drown a bitch. It's a habit, tricking on a bitch. Shit, I'm thinking I'm crippin' a pimp. Shit, I'm cooking up dope like a dump. Shit, like her first gon' sit nigga trim. Shit, I'm floating, I'm out in the blimp. Shit, it look like I'm swimming in glass. Shit, I turn on my bitch cause she bad. Shit, I'm making my ex nigga mad. Shit, they go for that number for man. Real nigga learn up, wearing a bag. Piping a bitch and they nail like I can. Turn up the shooters with switches go bad. They was some scammers, but I was for pain. Slapping no rap with my dog, he fall off. No capping, no bound.